Hey everybody. As you can see, we are here with Holly and Cece and Incognito. We're going to talk about Amiah's case and answer some questions that are asked quite often, and also fill you in on a few petitions you can sign to help. If you have any questions, leave them in the chat. But let's say hi to everybody. How are you guys?
Hi, guys.
Hello. How's everybody doing?
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Cece, do you want to tell them about the petitions? I have all of them linked in the description box to you guys.
Yes, we'll start out with the one, let a grand jury decide. So that was one that was written up back in, I want to say 2020, because we were just hanging by a thread, wondering what was going on with the case, wondering if any charges were going to be filed at the time. And we were just kind of tired of waiting. So went ahead, put the petition together, got lots of signatures so I could put it forth to the prosecuting attorney of Marion County. And we actually got signatures, but I never got to print it off and send it anywhere. So that's what's going on with that one. And then there was another petition that I had put together back in the very beginning of Amiah's case called Caylee's Law. And for anybody that doesn't know what that is, it was a law that started back in, I'm not sure exactly what year, in Florida. That has to do with Caylee Anthony, the little 3-year-old girl that went missing back in 2008. And her mom was on trial for her murder when they found her 6 months later. And she unfortunately got acquitted. She waited 31 days to report. So that's how that law began. And then I thought it would be nice for us to have it here. It's gotten thousands of signatures throughout our Amiah groups, and then people sharing to their personal pages and whatnot. And then Patricia Rittberger, which is Holly's sister, started an Amiah's law petition, which it's the same thing basically as Caylee's law, but it's just been renamed, and it has thousands of signatures. So I think Patty has linked my petition with hers so it could get more signatures. So we're hoping in the near future that that will actually get put into legislature so that no other parent can wait even 2 days to report their child missing because that put a big hindrance in Amiah's case. So that's what's going on with the petitions.
Okay, so we have those. Like I said, they're all linked in the description box if you guys want to sign them, share this video, whatever you need to do to help get this case out there some more and get more attention on it so something can happen to get justice. Does Miss Incog want to say anything?
Sure. Well, I just wanted to say hi to everybody. And I was going over the presser today just to kind of refresh timeline and everything. I was wondering where everything stood as of now, like with the detective. Are they going to file charges?
I'll touch on that, Incog. She is still in the process of working the case, and there are particular things that have happened that can't really be spoke on publicly. But the case is trying to be moved forward. So just to let everybody know out there that the case is not cold, it has been being worked on and it is still active. And I do believe in the near future, hopefully, Amiah will seek her justice.
Does anybody know where Robbie is these days?
I think Robbie's about an hour north of here.
Interesting.
So, as I put in the video that everybody just seen, they were at the waterfront the day that this happened. Who all was there?
Holly, do you want to answer or do you want me to?
You can go ahead.
And so there was Robbie, Amber, what they call babysitter, Jeanette Browning, which wasn't the babysitter, her best friend at the time, Brenda Carter, Amber's 2 brothers, Donnie and TJ. And Donnie is the one that died 2 months after Amiah. He had cancer.
Okay. Incog, I'm going to go through these list of questions. If you want to ask further on anything I asked, just jump in.
Okay.
So a lot of people have asked repeatedly if Logan was at the waterfront.
That's not true. I don't know where that rumor got started. There were 3 hotels that came into play during Amiah's disappearance that week. Logan was never at the waterfront. He was with Amber, Trey, Andres, whichever one you want to call him. His last name's Cox, and then a girl named Jessica. They were at a hotel in Greenwood. It's called the Fanta Suites, and that was on March the 15th, the night before Amiah got reported missing.
Okay, and can you explain how Logan met up with Amber?
So Amber was at the Days Inn in Beech Grove. It's on the south side of Indy with Robbie on the 14th. They had a confrontation. He beat her up. She left and went back to her mother's in an Uber with her little boy Logan. And that night, I do believe she reached out and contacted him. And then that's how they ended up at the Fanta Suites on the next night, is because she reached out and contacted him for whatever reason.
Okay. And we know that Amber got a tattoo. It's been stated that that was an in memory of tattoo for Amiah. Is that true?
Yes. I talked with Andres, Trey, whatever, and when they were at the Fanta Suites on the 15th, he was doing tattoos, and he put a tattoo on, I think it's on her right wrist, and it says Amiah, and he told me it was a memorial tattoo. He specifically told me that when I met up with him personally. And then he told me that again another time when he was with Ashley here in Indianapolis. That's the girl he's married to now that he lives up north with.
Okay, and then I have a question for both of you. Everybody wants both of your guys' opinions. Could
Okay.
Amiah have been taken?
As far as, go ahead, Holly, and then I'll say something.
I don't think she was taken. I think it's exactly the way it is right now. Robbie's the one who took her and has done something with her.
And I'm going to agree with Holly. No, I just want everybody to put that speculation to rest.
Okay.
Amiah's DNA was found, and that is how she was presumed dead. So that was found by law enforcement up on the beginning of the investigation. 1 week after Amiah went missing, was reported missing, I'm sorry, on the 16th. On March the 23rd of 2019, then she was put on the homicide list. And people that are not homicide victims are not put on that list. And no, Vindicries, no, she was not sold, no.
Okay. You covered that in that answer. Where was the DNA evidence found?
That I really can't put out publicly. It was just found. Go ahead.
Was there any other evidence found?
Her belongings were found on the riverbank of it's a place called 1907 that's not far from Jeanette Browning's house, which is named as the babysitter on the southwest side of Indy, along with Robert Lyon's stuff. But it was oddly found by Amber, the mom, while Robbie was in jail.
Okay. Do either of you think Amiah's death was premeditated?
Go ahead, Holly.
I don't think it was premeditated. I think, in all reality, I think it may have been an accident. In my opinion, I think it may have been an accident, unless Robbie did something, and we just really don't know right now.
And as far as what I think it possibly was an accident as well. And then he freaked out and he decided to hide the fact instead of doing the right thing and calling 911. But then again, he could have possibly been mad at Amber and tried to get back at her, because one thing that doesn't make sense to me, is the story was he was going to take Amiah and drop her off at Jeanette's house to be babysat. Okay, but Amiah was never seen on camera being taken out of the vehicle once he dropped Brenda and Jeanette off. So that's my question, is why didn't he leave her there if she was going to be babysat? Now he goes back hours later to the waterfront with no Amiah, and Amber's under the assumption that Jeanette has her. So that's still my question, is why he did not drop her off if she was supposed to be babysat.
Right.
And the babysitter already sat there and said that the mom was there almost the whole week, and she knew that the baby was not there.
Right. Didn't Robbie taunt Amber that week of, if you'll come with me alone, I'll take you to Amiah?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And
she stated that she was afraid to go with him.
Yep. And really, we call Jeanette the babysitter, but that's a loose term. She really didn't babysit.
Exactly.
On a normal, regular basis that we would call somebody a sitter.
No.
So I tend to think it wasn't an accident unless it was something like starvation or dehydration, right? Like if he just kept the kid in the back of I shouldn't say the kid, the child in the back of his car and didn't take her to Jeanette's, and then, didn't feed her, didn't give her a bottle or whatever. I don't know. I mean, that's kind of pushing it. I don't think it was an accident. I think it was intentional, and I think he was going to harm Amber, probably.
It's funny you bring that up, Incog, because I have talked to Holly and Lindsay and Sierra about that same thing. Possibly you too, Amy. I really believe I don't know. I think when he was going to get Amber out, I do think he was going to hurt her because at this point he's like, Amiah's already gone. I might as well take her mom out too. But the
Right.
thing is if that were me as mother, and anybody that's a mother knows, I mean, that cares about their children, you'll dance with the devil to find your children.
Yep.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean,
So-
as far as I understand, when Robbie and Amber was at the Days Inn hotel, that's one of the things that they were arguing about, is Amber was asking where the baby was. That should have right there have told her to call the police, but she still didn't do it.
And I can't understand, if they were having some sort of little family like get together, why she would let Robbie take her child away from that.
Yeah.
But yet she was too scared to go with him a week later.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, that doesn't.
And
really nothing Amber has done during this whole thing makes sense to me. So
it doesn't to me either, and I personally know her. But another thing that doesn't make sense to me is, okay, well, a lot of people that knew Robbie said, oh, he would never harm a child. Well, there's a lot of people in this world you would never think would harm children. Who would have thought Chris Watts would have killed his whole family, including his 2 children?
no one.
Exactly. So
Not me
people are
personally.
capable of anything. I mean, when you're angry and you've been up for days on, methamphetamine, I've explained that before, how you may get irritated, you're agitated, you haven't slept, you haven't eaten probably. Plus, he was going through all this riffraff with Amber and her talking about maybe possibly getting back with her son's father, Logan Sr.
Right.
And there was a lot of things that played into them fighting. So anything's possible.
Which, if she was getting back with her ex, why in the world would she allow Robbie just to go and go off with the baby for a week and not report that? That's
Absolutely.
crazy.
Tears in the chat wants to know, does Robbie have any previous records of violence?
Not to my knowledge. I know he has a criminal history, but I don't think it involves anything like that up until he hit Amber with the car, because I don't think she ever reported that to the police before that one specific incident on the.
Yeah.
And that's what doesn't make sense to me and Holly is he beat her up. Okay, at the waterfront, they had a confrontation where the room got totally destroyed. The night Amiah went missing, when he returned to the hotel, and then he beat her up again in front of little Logan on the 14th.
At the Days Inn.
And she never reported that to the police until she goes to Jeanette Browning's house. He's around in the back, in the alley, which most of you have seen that personally. And he's back there slumped over on some type of drugs. And June Ellsbury, his ex-girlfriend, is standing there. Now it's a whole new ballgame. Robbie and Amber get into an argument. She goes to write his plate down because he had stolen a plate to put on the back of his car. And then he backs out and hits her with the car. Now I'm calling the police. Now I'm pissed because, your ex-girlfriend's here. So, he hit me with the car. And by the way, my baby's missing.
She had to be told.
Mm.
She had to be told to tell the police her daughter was missing. Am I right, Cece?
Yeah, you're right.
I mean, somebody had to literally tell her, you better tell them your daughter's missing.
Mhm.
And that's when she told the police that Amiah was missing.
And when I looked at his record, there wasn't any other records of violent offenses. So
No.
How old was he, or is he?
He is 20. I think he'll be 23 this year, or he is 23.
So basically, he was around 20 when
Yeah.
this happened.
Him and Amber are around the same age. She'll be 23 this year in June. And
And
Tears
they've
for
known each
Justice,
other for a long time.
most of their lives. Tears for Justice has another question, you guys.
hang on, we got one from Cold Truth first.
Oh, okay.
She wants
Sorry.
to know if you can talk about the neighbors that went live and spoke about the surveillance that they have at the tip at the dumpster some more.
Talk about.
I think it was when the truck backed up to the dumpster.
Oh, I definitely want to talk about that. Yeah, absolutely. Because that is a little grease dumpster. So when I watched the whole video and when Trey got out, Andres, he went around to the back of the truck and legit what he said is what happened. He used the bathroom. He did not throw anything in that little grease dumpster. And that's all it is because that place there used to be a restaurant. So that didn't happen.
Okay, I'm not seeing Tears' other question. I've seen a few statements.
It's up at the top. It's if we go back up here, has law enforcement reported that about the DNA because everything I could find, they never disclosed that. It's never been disclosed what it was. And they didn't specify to the public. That's why she was named a homicide victim. But that's why they just used that tactic. She wasn't old enough to take care of herself. That was a tactic to throw the public off.
Kate wants to know if they're still together and where they currently live.
Robbie and Amber, no, they haven't been together. Have they been talking on and off? Yes, I strongly believe they have done that. Amber lives in Indianapolis still, and Robbie lives, like I said, about an hour away from him, from here, north. So,
Okay, to circle back to the premeditated, do you think Amber could have asked Robbie to get rid of Amiah?
go ahead, Holly.
I don't know. It could be a possibility. I think Robbie is a follower. I even seen a post years ago when he was a teenager that his mother posted out when he was a runaway, talking about how he was doing everything that this girl wanted him to do that was a girlfriend of his. So I don't know. He possibly could have. I just don't know. That's just an open thing right there.
And as far as what I think, anything's possible. I mean, I'm not really
sure.
I'm not really sure about that. I have mixed emotions about it, but I mean, I think Amiah got in Amber's way, so anything's possible.
Yes, I do believe that. Yeah, I definitely believe that, Cece.
We know Robbie was using drugs at the time. Was Amber?
Okay, I definitely want to touch on that. As I told people in my presence when I met Amber, she was never under the influence. I definitely would have been able to tell that. But prior to me knowing her, everyone I spoke to that did hang out with Amber and knew her said that she did drugs. And then a person that is of a very legit source, I won't say who it came from, verified that yes, Amber was dabbling in drugs as well before Amiah went missing.
Okay. Tears has a question that's split into two. Why would she want to get rid of her when she already has other kids? And wouldn't Amiah's dad take her if she didn't want to care for her?
I don't know about why she would want to get rid of Amiah when she already had Logan. That was the only child she had at the time. I think she's always favored Logan, just from the things that I've heard and saw. And as far as, hold on, wouldn't Amiah's dad take her
father. Yeah.
if he didn't want to, if she didn't want, well, this DNA, Holly's brother Keith, was never established before Amiah went missing because of Amber.
Yeah, she, I've known about Amiah since before she was born. I was babysitting for my brother, watching my nephew, and he came over and told me that he may possibly be having another child. And when the DNA thing and everything happened, he wanted to go to the hospital when she had Amiah, but he didn't know where she was staying at. And when she went to have Amiah, he did not even know about it until after she left the hospital with the baby. And he tried to find where she was, but he could never find out where she was staying. Nobody would tell him. And he did try. He was reaching out, but he wasn't getting anywhere. And he couldn't even try and do a DNA if he ain't got an address where she's at. And that was one of his big things that he was having an issue with during that time after Amiah was born. He just did not know where Amiah was or Amber.
Let's see. Cold Truth wants to know about the apartment complex off of Rockville Road.
What are they wanting to know? What does she want to know?
Well, I'd like to know if I can chime in. He was in that vicinity between 1:30 and 8 p.m., correct?
Yeah, they pinged him in between 1:30 and 8:30 that night, and then they lost signal of him. So the last hour and a half is unaccounted for. So,
and that was Rockville Road in
Mickley, yes.
Mickley.
Mm-hmm.
So, does anyone know if he has family there, an apartment there?
It's believed that he did know someone in that area. He broke down there, and he needed his tire fixed, but that's what it's believed, that he did know somebody there over in the area, but nobody's ever been able to establish that.
Okay, so putting the timeline together is he left at 1:15 p.m. from the hotel?
Mm-hmm. Oh, no, he left about 11:15 a.m. that morning to take Jeanette and Brenda home. And then on the way, because everybody kept asking, why did it take them so long to get from the waterfront, which is only 12 minutes or so from the waterfront to her house. And I found out they stopped off at a thrift store that was going out of business. Jeanette and Brenda went in while Robbie sat in the car with Amiah. And then he dropped them off about 1:15, and then after he dropped them off, that's when he broke down at the apartments.
So the neighbor across the street, she said she's seen a man in Amber, and she used the term that baby at that house, meaning Jeanette's. So that means that Amber, and I'm assuming a man would be Robbie, and Amiah was at Jeanette's house. And that's directly across the street. Is that pretty accurate, you think?
No, because that was a rumor that Caylee Beatty started. She's the one that started one of the very first Amiah groups. Her parents are the ones that have video footage of Amiah never being taken out of the car on the 9th. And she says she was over there on the 15th, and she's seen Amber. At first, she's changed the story 3 different times to 3 different men. So then she changed her story altogether and said it never happened. She said Amber was walking out with her arms outstretched with the baby, and then she was screaming, my baby, my baby. And then first it was Robbie that was with her, then it was Logan, then it was some other guy, I forget who she said. And then I personally asked, and that was confirmed to be like a bag or something. So it was not legit a baby. And then when they're talking about her walking to the alley, that was at a different time, because that was actually caught on the news. The thing they're talking about, her being outstretched with a baby in her arms, that was on the 15th in the dark. And when she was seen walking around to the alley, that's when she was getting her stuff out of Jeanette's after the baby was reported missing. So that's just a rumor. That was not true.
Okay.
Because if that were true, they would have been in jail, I promise you.
Mm-hmm. It's sad for the law enforcement that's had to weed through all this chaos, and nobody can seem to tell the truth in all this.
Yeah.
I wrote down McCarty Street and Tripped Street. Was there something involved with that?
That's where 1907 is, where her stuff was all found, and they did searches, and then us girls did multiple searches for like over a year.
Wasn't there like a diaper taped to a tree?
Around a branch. How weird that was, yeah.
And it had been raining all night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she when I first met Amber there, she was more concerned about telling me how tightly wrapped the baby diaper was on this branch. And she was so worried about telling me that. Cece had to say, well, Amber, tell Holly where the rest of the Maya stuff was. Oh. And that's how she was like, oh.
Yeah.
And Cece had to end up telling me. She was more worried about telling me about this diaper. And I'm just like, that just don't make no sense. Why are you going to sit there and tell me about this, but you can't tell me about... But anyway, I don't know. Maybe it's just me. It was just the way it was.
No, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Obviously, someone planted that. We can't say for sure who, but we pretty much probably all agree.
Yeah, that's how I felt. I mean, she was more concerned about that than telling me about where Maya's belongings were.
Rebel says, where is Amiah's father now? The possible father, Holly's brother Keith, he lives right outside of Indianapolis. He doesn't really stay active anymore because he got a lot of flack and a lot of backlash for everything and his age and whatnot, and it just brought a lot of drama. So he leaves the searching and all that stuff to me and Holly and Lindsay and the other few people, like Sierra. She comes occasional.
Yeah. People were bringing pictures of his other kids into this, and that didn't need to happen. You know, they don't need to have their photos out there. It has nothing to do with his other children, you know.
Right.
I mean, it got to the point to where there was somebody that found out where his house was, and that's kind of like what got him to stop. He was just, I can't do it no more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Was the diaper that was taped to the tree a new diaper, unused?
From what I've been told by law enforcement.
See, if that had been Robbie, he's not going to take the time to do all that.
Thank you. Thank you. I feel the same way.
No way.
He's not going to sit there and keep his time there. If he's going to dump a baby's belongings there, he's not going to sit there and waste his time tightly wrapping a diaper and taping it onto a branch.
Yeah, that was someone who thought they were going to set up a crime scene, I guess. You know, thinking that maybe the police would think Amiah was thrown into the river or something.
That could be a possibility, but it's never been confirmed. She's never been found there, which, I mean, it would depend on how she was thrown down. There's been multiple searches by law enforcement in that water. There were drones brought in. There were dogs brought in. So anything's possible.
Well, I have a question about the searches. Okay. They did a search warrant on Jeanette's house, right?
Yeah.
Then a month later, they went back and dug up some stuff, right? They had the cadaver dogs.
Mm-hmm.
Did they ever search Robbie's 1996 maroon Isuzu rodeo?
Yes. Robbie, when it was reported that he hit Amber with the car over at Jeanette's house, he took off, so he was not arrested that right away. He actually was arrested on the 17th, which was like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, over at Amber's mom's house on Hamilton, which is on the near east side of Indy. And when they arrested him, they did impound his vehicle. And since Amiah had been reported, yes, they searched his vehicle.
Well, you would think if anything turned up, like, say, blood or anything like that, that they would have made an arrest. So I'm
Right.
assuming that wasn't how, or, she wasn't harmed, at least in the car.
Right.
That we know of, unless it was suffocation or something else besides cold-blooded murder, I guess. I don't know how to say that, but...
Right. Well, that's true. And my thing is with that, I mean, she could have possibly been put in the vehicle, maybe in a bag or something. It's hard to say. And go ahead, Incog.
Sorry. Did Amber lawyer up?
No, that was not true. I don't even know where that speculation came from. I know that's what the news said, but she didn't even have money for a lawyer, or at that point, there was no reason for her to have an attorney. She was never even charged with anything, but no, that's not true.
Okay.
Tears wants to know, when Robbie was taking her to Jeanette's, was there a diaper bag or anything, and has any of those items been located?
As far as a diaper bag, I don't think it was located. Some of the things, I don't know what would have been in the vehicle, but a lot of Amiah's stuff was found on that riverbank. So.
And Cold Truth wants to know if the crime scene unit did the testing on the vehicle.
Yes. As far as I know law enforcement did test the vehicle, since Amiah had been reported missing and the FBI did get involved.
What part of Amiah's disappearance and death do you think Amber played, if any?
I strongly believe that. I'm not necessarily sure that she played a part in it. Do I believe that she has knowledge of what happened and where she is? Absolutely. And what's your take on it, Holly?
I feel the same way. She knows something. As in what? That's what we don't know.
Because my thing is a lot of people, there's people that actually defend Amber. I mean, for whatever reason, I'm still clueless on that one. But I just want people out here to know, and this is the truth, Amber has done nothing but continually lie in her daughter's case. And if you're not hiding anything, you have no reason to lie. Your story stays pretty consistent throughout the whole. I don't care if you're asked 100 times, your story still stays pretty consistent. Hers never has. It's been all over the place. Just like Robbie, he's been a liar throughout the whole thing because they're hiding something, of course.
So do you think Amber knows what happened to Amiah and or where her body is?
I do. I've always thought that. Shortly after when Amber and I were talking, at first I kind of thought maybe she knew something, and then when I got to know her, at first I thought, well, she's innocent, I feel sorry for her. But then after talking to her and hanging out with her and everything, I'm like, oh, hell no, this girl definitely knows something. Definitely.
Do you think she's been threatened to keep the secret, or do you think she's afraid that people will think she had something to do with it? I mean, what's her reasoning for not coming forward?
It could possibly be that. I don't know, honestly. It could possibly be that. But then again, I don't know. I don't know.
She seems like the type of person that once one person would say one thing, she'll go with that story. If somebody else says something else, she's going to go with what you say. Very easily manipulated, maybe. So maybe Robbie has had something to do with that. Like, if you say anything, I'm going to kill you and your mom and your other kids, or
Yeah, absolutely. And if Jeanette was involved, which I think she has some knowledge of this as well, for my own personal reasons, she has been involved in organized crime, and she would be the main person that I would be afraid of. But I know Amber was afraid of Robbie at one time too. Like, but you're gonna send your baby with him?
Mm. Right.
Tears wants to know if the Riverbank 1911 is in a residential area.
1907.
Or yeah, sorry.
No, you're fine. If you go into the neighborhood, you know the neighborhood, Amy.
Yeah.
So you go down, you turn on a street, you turn on McCarty Street, go to the very end of this little tiny neighborhood, and it's at the very end of that. So kind of residential, but
There are houses back there, but they get a little less and less.
mhm.
And then it does go downhill a little bit to the riverbank. So, since we were just talking about Miss Browning, what do you think Jeanette's involvement is, and why do you feel that way?
I think Robbie helped her, or I think she helped Robbie cover up what he did to Amiah. And I feel that way because, for one, like I said, she's been involved in some organized crime. She was heavy into drugs. He was a drug runner for her. And from my understanding, that's why they were at that waterfront that night to party. I mean, she had a house of her own, so, but Robbie was homeless and he was living in her garage and in her shed. But then the other reasons, like, I can't go into that. That has to stay private. But that's what I believe. And Holly, what do you think?
I'm just gonna stick with you on that one.
Okay.
Rebel
Yeah.
wants to know what about Amber's demeanor when you got to know her made you feel that way?
Amber's demeanor when I got to know her made me feel that she was guilty.
Yeah.
Just the way that she was acting, for one thing. She was very emotionless most of the time. And the majority of the time, if I would see Amber cry, it was mainly over a guy, which is true. And then she would tell me one story 1 minute, and then maybe a week later, she would change her story up. And I would always make her, Sierra would come here quite often. I would always make her repeat to Sierra exactly what she told me, because at this point I knew I was going to take all this information to the detective, and I wanted to have backup so Amber couldn't say I was lying. So she just kept changing her stories around. She just acted suspicious to me. And anybody that was around her can tell you, like the day they did the dig in April of 2019, we were in the backyard. I have pictures of it I can post in my group of how close in proximity this is from the neighbor's backyard over to Jeanette's, where the alley is, where they're digging for her daughter. She's standing next to me. We're just feet away from where they're digging. And she's laughing and cutting up most of the time. There was maybe a dozen of us back there. And anybody that was standing back there with me can tell you she laughed most of the day and mainly talked about Robbie and how he made her clean up his drug paraphernalia. He specifically parked his car in this spot right here. And I don't know, it was like a big joke.
So
And
we know that. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, no, most of us as mothers, like, we would be freaking out and like losing our mind. But Amber did not give off that persona at all. And the only time that you would see her cry is like if Chuck did. That was it. And then after he left, like, game on.
So we know that Brenda Carter was there as well, but many people don't ever really reference her or bring her up in the case. Do you think she has involvement?
That I really don't know, because she's the only person that surrounded this case I've never gotten to talk to. Her and Brenda Jeanette and Brenda had a big falling out after this happened, and they used to be best friends. They've never spoken again since this incident. So if she has any knowledge, I've seen her post on her Facebook when people were commenting to her stuff about Amiah. She said, "You need to ask Jeanette that. She knows all about it." So there's a possibility maybe she does know.
Do you think anyone else has any involvement in the case other than the people we've mentioned?
I personally think maybe there's a couple of people that know, that legit know, but I don't think Robbie went around telling a whole lot of people what happened because he's scared to death and he doesn't want to go to prison.
Yep.
So, I mean, a whole neighborhood claims to know what happened to Amiah, everybody on the west side over there, but I think they just took a bunch of rumors and ran with them, is what I believe. But I know there's one in particular person that knew Amiah went missing, and that was on the 10th because they had their sister out looking for a missing baby with them. And at this point, Amiah had not even been reported to the police. At this point, I don't even think Amber knew the baby was missing at that point. So how this person knew, I want to know. But law enforcement can't get the truth out of them how they really know. And then the person that was looking with them said, "I even looked for the news the next day, Cece, to find out, if there was really a baby missing. And I thought, this person was full of shit because, I thought she was just tripping on drugs or, geeked out of her mind. And then here it is, on the 16th, and they report the baby missing. And then she calls this person and says, see, bitch, I told you there was really a baby missing. Now do you believe me?" And I heard this come from that person's mouth. So I'm still wondering how they really knew. But I don't think a whole lot of people really know the truth.
Where was Amber living prior to this incident? Tears asked.
She was legitly living with her mother on Hamilton Avenue by Burger King at Hamilton and 10th Street on the Near East Side. But she would go visit Robbie, and it kind of looked like she had been living there because with Jeanette, because whenever she was getting her stuff after the police got involved, you see her legitly on the news carrying a lot of stuff out of that house. It was a lot for Jeanette not to know her very well at all.
To circle back to the fight that happened at the hotel, and knowing that they had a history of fighting, do you think Robbie could have hurt Amiah out of revenge?
Yes.
Yeah.
I do, because like I said, if you read these messages between Robbie and Amber, you can clearly tell that he loved her. And like that was his glue, because he was homeless, and who did he really have,
Mm-hmm.
And I think he got upset with her for a lot of things. The writing was basically on the wall. It could be a possibility.
Why do you think Amber waited a week to report Amiah missing? Do you think it's just because of the text, or do you think there's bigger reasons?
What do I think? I think, for one thing, she was scared to report her daughter missing. And it just seems really odd to me why she would do that. Because at first the story was, oh, everybody thought she was safe. She literally lied to her family when they kept asking her, "Where's Amiah? Where's Amiah? Robbie's got her. Robbie's got her." And then at one point, her mom had told her, "Amber, if Amiah doesn't come back like soon, I'm calling the police." So I'm still wondering why. I think she should be charged with that myself.
I agree, because why didn't she go to Jeanette's house?
She did go to Jeanette's house. So my understanding of it, I got this from Jeanette. I even have an audio clip of her and I talking, Jeanette and I, and Amber kind of told me that she also, well, she didn't she did tell me that when they left that hotel, Robbie and Amber,
Mhm.
that they did go back to Jeanette's house, and Jeanette even tells me in the audio clip that Amber was at my house all week. She knew I didn't have that baby. Well, she was there up until I think the 14th, because that's when they got the hotel at the Days Inn. So I really honestly believe Amber knew that. Well, she had to know, because one of her stories was, oh, I FaceTimed with Amiah because Brenda was supposed to have her. And then, okay, then she changed her story, and she said, no, she said Jeanette called Aunt B. That's what they called Brenda. And supposedly said, when are you bringing Amiah back? And she said, oh, I don't have a car, so I don't have a way to bring her back. And Amber was supposedly told that Brenda lived in Martinsville in the trailer park across from Walmart off of 30, what's the highway, 36, 37, going towards Bloomington. But I took Amber down there and I said, well, when we get there, what are we looking for? Because I don't know what kind of a car she drives. And then Amber says, well, she doesn't drive. And I'm like, well, how are we going to know if she has your baby and where she lives? And then come to find out she lived right not far from Jeanette Browning. But I'm thinking, okay, well, if she's down there, why can't Robbie take you to go get her? It didn't make sense to me. So she changed stories there. And we were sitting in a restaurant when she literally changed her story. And when Sierra came out of the bathroom, I said, Amber, tell Sierra what you just told me. Like, first you FaceTimed and then there was a phone call made. Which one was it?
Right. Cold Truth wants to know, has the house and area been searched by her mother's on Hamilton?
I believe it possibly was, but there was nothing there. So I know when Ed from what was his podcast? Ed Bounds.
Oh,
Crime Pursuit. When he first came on the scene, there had been wet cement that had been dumped at a tree. And then he tried to make a big deal out of it and say, oh, well, you know, the police are going to be checking this out and all this and that. And Amber's aunt and uncle owned that house. And I found out, which I kind of thought it was a bunch of BS. And I found out that the neighbors did that when they were doing construction on the house next door. They dumped it back there. So it had nothing to do with Amiah. I don't ever believe she's left that west side.
Right, and when Amber's mom moved out, there were some searchers that went there too and was checking out the house when it was empty, and they didn't see anything.
Yeah, I just think that was all just nonsense.
Tears said, do we know for a fact...
I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Holly. You're fine.
I was just going to say, as in the area, I don't think there was really any searching. I just know that after the mom moved out, there was some searchers that went there and they were checking out the area, the house, and the backyard, and so on and so forth.
Right. Okay. Tears says, do we know for a fact that Robbie did have Amiah, not someone else? I know Robbie said he was the last person, but other than that, is there evidence to that fact?
Yes. Law enforcement knows that he did have Amiah. So, yes, he was the last one with Amiah. And not only that, but there were two witnesses on March 11th. That's one witness saw, she's in my Amiah group, Robbie walking down Warman Street, South Warman, which is right on the next street over from Holmes, where Jeanette lives, with what appeared to be a baby underneath a blanket. The girl never saw a baby, but had to be a baby underneath this blanket, and it was cold outside, and she stopped and asked him, did he need a ride? And he said no, and turned around and started walking the other direction. And then on that same day, down the street off of West Washington, going a little east on Bellevue, there was another witness that saw, with her husband, saw Robbie walking with that same blanket with what appeared to be a baby underneath it. And she knew for a fact that was Robbie because she saw Amber and Robbie in the neighborhood a lot. I've talked to both of those people, and I do believe they've spoken to law enforcement.
Okay, you guys' favorite questions that get asked all the time. Is Amiah's case cold?
No.
Is it still being investigated?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
A lot of people keep thinking just because law enforcement doesn't announce anything publicly that they're not working on the case, they forgot about Amiah, she's been pushed on a back burner. That's not true.
No. Very much being investigated.
What is true is anybody that's local here knows that this is a city, so there's a lot of murder and crime here. So, I mean, probably today we've had 4 or 5 homicides. I haven't seen the news today, and that's an everyday occurrence. So they don't ask any questions or go public about a homicide or any crime really unless they need the public's help. So that's why you haven't heard anything for a long time, because they're not specifically asking for the public to come forward anymore, only if there was somebody that legit was at this scene with whatever happened to Amiah. That's the only person that they want to hear from, unless there's a tip that will come in or something. So it's being active, or the case is active. That's what I was trying to say.
Is the FBI still involved?
Yes, the FBI is definitely involved. They have been from the beginning.
And why hasn't anyone been arrested or charged yet?
Oh, this is my favorite one because I get fired up and pissed off, and anybody that's listened to my lives in my Amiah group, you know. Because Amber and Robbie have lied their asses off throughout this whole entire thing. So that's put a damper and a hindrance on this case. And plus Amber waiting a whole week to report Amiah missing, that gave Robbie plenty of leeway to get rid of Amiah. So everybody that knows anything about true crime knows that the first 48 hours are the most crucial. And I believe Amiah could have been found within the first day or two had Amber done the correct thing. And then also we got all this speculation from people that were in Amiah groups giving false statements and telling false bullshit. And then all the druggies that gave all these accounts to what happened. There was a dog story. I don't believe the bullshit ever happened. And there were a lot of rumors going around. So they have to investigate everything. But that's the main thing, because the main players have been nothing but liars throughout the whole thing. So anybody that knows, just like with the baby Delano case that happened here in Indianapolis on that same side, his dad was actually put in jail for murder, but they're saying a lot of this was circumstantial evidence. So they acquitted the guy. So that's the main reason nothing's happened yet, but don't think that something probably isn't going to happen.
Does law enforcement still encourage public searches?
Actually, we get a lot of, yeah, actually they do. As long as we're not out here breaking the law and we're not hurting anyone. Yeah, actually, yes, they do.
And you guys are still actively doing searches too, correct?
Yes, when the weather permits us to. Mm-hmm.
Yes. We have no issues going out there.
No, and actually we've even had praise from IMPD and homicide for searching, because they want Amiah to be found and they want her to have justice just like we do.
And again, the last time we even talked to the police, they looked at us straight in the face and they said, please don't stop looking. And that's what they told us.
Tears says, but if Robbie admits to being the last person, why can't they charge him since they say she is a homicide victim and cannot take care of herself? He would be liable for her life.
We'll just put it this way, and I can't really talk publicly. That is being worked on. That is being worked on. I think a lot of people, when this case finally is done, I think a lot of people are going to be shocked. So it's just, there's a lot to this case. Like, it is the most, I followed Casey Anthony the whole way through that whole trial. And so a lot of this case is similar to that, but this case is more effed up than that one, whatever anybody ever thought. I mean, this case is just one of the most complex and would make you pull your hair out. It makes me want to, and I'm not even a homicide detective.
Right.
Do you still talk to Amber?
No, we haven't spoken polite words to each other since 2019. We had a falling out, and a lot of people think it has to do with a family member of mine. It has nothing to do with that, because Amber and I were on the outs before all that happened.
Amber has said on news clips before that she will never give up looking for her daughter. Do you know of any searches that Amber has headed up, or memorials or anything?
None.
Well, no, hold on. And by herself, no, she really never searched or anything. After I got to talking to Amber, she did come on maybe 5 searches with me and Sierra, and that's how she actually got to meet Holly at one time. But as far as like her doing her own stuff, no, she doesn't go public about anything. She doesn't do anything.
I don't know too many mothers that would do nothing if they weren't guilty of something.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
And what about her mother?
Whose mother?
Amber's mother.
What about her?
Does she do anything as far as trying to find Amiah?
No. But in the beginning, I'm just going to say this. I can't help it. Somebody's got some noise going on in the background.
It's Holly.
I'm just going to say this, that in the beginning, like, no, she didn't really do anything. And then now she has cancer. She's dying of cancer. So I think she wants justice for her granddaughter? Probably so. But she has never been really active in Amiah's case at all.
Do either of you have an opinion as to what happened to Amiah?
Yeah. I honestly think that day that either Robbie was angry at Amber and he hurt her intentionally, and then he's like, shit, what am I going to do with this baby? Or it was an accident, just like we were talking about earlier, and he disposed of her and he was freaking out. And I've heard a lot that there's only a few people that defend Robbie. They say he cries a lot and he does this and he does that. Well, if I were in his shoes and I'm trying to cover up a homicide, I would cry too, because I would be scared to death I'm going to get found out and I'm going to go to prison. And then second of all, I would think about this baby that looked up to me and I was her caretaker. And I suppose, I loved her so much and now she's dead because of me. So yeah, I would cry too.
Holly, do you have an opinion on that?
Holly.
Sorry. Say that again. Yeah.
Do you have an opinion on what happened to Amiah?
Can you hear her, Holly?
opinion. Barely, but I'm gonna go ahead and skip that one because I wasn't here really. Sorry, my bird. I was trying to get her to quiet.
Oh, you're fine.
She asked you, what do you think Robbie did to Amiah? Do we have an opinion about it?
I don't know what he could have done to her, to be honest with you. It's hard to put myself in something like that. It's just really, I don't know what to think about it, to be honest with you. We'll just go past that one.
Okay. Tears, yes it is. Let's see. The tip line number is scrolling across the bottom of the screen. Would Amiah's case fall under Indiana law qualifying for the death penalty?
That would depend. Because in order to get the death penalty, they have to prove pre-malice that he had intent to kill Amiah, and that has to be proved beyond the shadow of a doubt. In like second-degree murder, they don't pass the death penalty here. So if he legit killed Amiah on purpose, they would have to prove it, and then it's possible he could get the death penalty.
And then someone emailed me and asked how you guys would feel if the death penalty was brought to the table.
I feel it's an eye for an eye, and an innocent baby's life was taken. And if it was intentional, I feel that a person does deserve the death penalty. And even if it were an accident, I still feel that way because somebody's covering up what happened to an innocent child, and she never got to live her life and never even got a first birthday. And she was robbed of that. So I very much support the death penalty in this case, if that were to be put on the table.
And I feel the same way.
Do you have any questions, Incog?
Oh goodness. I think I've asked everything. I just, how did everything go with the memorial on Saturday?
It went great, actually. I wish we could have had a little bit more people, but it turned out great.
Good.
We met, we did a prayer like we always do. Chuck did show up, Amiah's grandfather. So we put our differences to the side. He brought a police escort, so we got that to go through the neighborhood. And then we were going to set off, not balloons, but what are they called? Lanterns. And then I realized they were non-flammable. So we got to hang them in the trees.
Gotcha.
We did walk down to Amiah's memorial site. The news did come and cover us. He got to interview people, and I kind of did my own thing, let people speak for Amiah, because I went live in my Amiah group, and I let people talk and say what they wanted to say for Amiah. And Amber's sister and her husband showed up, and her oldest son, and it was really cute because I love him. He's such a good kid. He brought this angel, and she has a Bible in her hands, and it has a little butterfly on it, and you can put a candle in the back. And he was just so proud of that, and he got to speak for Amiah and stuff. It was really sweet.
Aw, well, that's good. Yeah, I saw the news clip. Was that clip of you talking, was that memorial on Saturday, or was that last year?
If you're talking about the Channel 8 news clip that was just recently put in the groups and stuff,
I think it was.
I reached out to that news reporter because she was reporting about the shooting that happened at Chuck E. Cheese like a week prior.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw her commenting to the girl that went live about the whole thing. And I reached out to her to see if she would cover us at the memorial walk. And then she actually contacted me that Thursday and asked me if I would meet her at Amiah's memorial site and do a story on Amiah. And I said, sure.
Oh, okay.
And then the person that came Saturday, he was from Channel 6.
Okay. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Channel 8. So.
Yeah, she's the one that reached out to me to do Amiah's story.
Well, good deal. I mean, at least it's not going, without some sort of coverage.
We always, when we do the events and stuff, we always try to bring the news so they can keep her story out there. That way, maybe if somebody did hear or see something, they can contact, the detectives or contact one of us girls. It doesn't matter, because then we turn in those tips. And
I'm assuming that surveillance, if there was any at the apartment building on Rockville and Mickley.
Mm-hmm.
Is that something that if they had any surveillance, if it was taken by police or?
Okay, as far as that, the first detective that was on the case, Jeannie Burkhart,
Mm-hmm.
She did a presser right after all of this happened, and she was telling how Robbie was in the Rockville Mickley area for all those hours.
Mm-hmm.
And then she mentions the gas station that's right in front of those apartments, but those were the only cameras. There was none into those apartments, because a lot of those apartments were boarded up because it was a really, really rough area. And I'm just going to say it, they were ghetto.
Yeah.
And really run down. And it's a place where you could find a lot of drugs. There's been a lot of homicide in that neighborhood. But there's a lot of dumpsters that was in that complex, and they get emptied 3 times a week.
Oh, goodness.
So there's 1 of 3 things that happened here. Amiah was tossed in the water, she was put in one of those dumpsters, or she was buried. So if she was actually taken to the landfill, we'll never know, because it was too late, they say, after Amiah was reported missing. And they say the cadaver dogs will touch on anything bloody or anything like that in a landfill, so it never got searched, which is very unfortunate. And I blame a lot of that on Amber as well.
Mm-hmm. I don't know how she can live with herself.
Well, that's the thing. Like, a lot of us are asking that question. None of us understand it, because I would have been in the nut house by now, or I would have been 6 foot under. I don't understand. Like, my kids are grown, and like, I could never imagine something like this happening. And we get a lot of flack because it seems like we focus all of our attention towards Amber. Well, Robbie's not here to focus our attention at. Holly has done a lot of videos pertaining to Robbie. We were going to do a protest when we found out where he was. That didn't happen because I got sick, and there was barely nobody to come with us. It was cold outside. And then he disappeared. He's stayed out of the radar since the beginning. He doesn't want people bothering him. I've even hit him up in Messenger.
Well, of course not. He knows he's toast if he says one word. But my thing is, I could almost see it if she had stayed with him. But now that they're broke up and they haven't even been with each other, I don't know why she doesn't tell.
That's a good question. I mean, maybe she's afraid that she's going to go to prison. That's my only thinking.
But at this point, I mean, it would just depend on her role in it. I mean, even though if she didn't play a part in the actual, hiding her, which, if it were an accident, when 911 could have been called,
And then, we wouldn't be here today. But now you turn this into a whole crime scene because you're hiding a baby. That's a felony. There's all these felonies that can play into this. And then Amber would be an accessory if she does know. So you're an accessory if you know about a crime and you don't report it, especially this kind of a crime.
Well, I was just, in the beginning, I think now is a little too late, but she probably could have got by with having some of the charges dropped against her if she could have provided information on what actually happened, cut a deal. I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying she should. I'm just saying,
yeah,
somebody should have talked some sense into her. But it sounds like probably everybody around her said, you better not say anything because you'll go to jail too. And it sounds like she believed all that.
That could be possible. Or, they made threats to her, or maybe she played an involvement. Who knows? Maybe she did play a part. Nobody really actually knows the truth.
Yeah.
They're the ones that know the truth. I mean, we're still trying to get it.
Right. And if Robbie and Jeanette conspired, just say they had been the reason that Amiah is no longer with us, I'm sure they told Amber, well, we will tag team and tell the police that it was all you, and she seems like someone that would be that simple-minded to believe them.
Yeah.
Well, that leads me to, there was a conversation we had about a day that you guys went to Steak and Shake together.
Yeah.
And do you think that because, and you can explain what happened, but do you think that she was coerced into what to say and not to say?
Yeah, absolutely. After that, I do. It was Amiah's first birthday, and we decided we were going to go search, me, Amber, and Sierra, because I asked Amber, I said, what do you want to do for Amiah's first birthday? And she said, let's just go search. That's what I would like to do. And I'm like, cool, we're game with that. And we went to Pizza Hut in Beech Grove, and Sierra met us because she lives an hour away from here in Bloomington. She met up with us, and while we were sitting there eating, Amber's sitting next to me. I'm sitting across from Sierra, and Amber starts talking about the 9th, talking about Jeanette Browning, and then she starts telling us a story, and then she all of a sudden slams her fist down on the table and said, wait, the story went. And we're like, what the hell do you mean? Me and Sierra just stopped, and we're like looking at her like crazy, and we just looked at each other like, what the hell does that mean? What story? So, yeah, it was like she was told to say something, or here's the story. Now you can't mess it up. But I after getting to know and learn Amber, people think she's slow, but I will definitely tell you, like I've told everyone, she's not dumb like people think she is. She's a manipulator. And I've said this 100 times. She can have an hour conversation with you and remember almost all of it word for word. I'm not lying. And she can cheat really well at card games. She would be perfect to cheat in a game of poker. And she's just smarter than what people think she is. But she's gullible at the same time. So I can see her, believing like, oh, I'm going to get in trouble,
So I did a poll at the beginning of this stream asking if people thought that Amiah would get justice. We have 80% for yes, but what do you two think?
Holly, you talk and then I'll say my piece.
I think she'll get justice.
I absolutely, at this point, I do believe she is going to get justice because I do know the detective has been working her ass off. And not a lot of people don't know that, but she really has. And I know the case is headed in a good direction. So I do believe she is going to get justice. Yes, I do.
Okay. To the people that know what happened to Amiah, what would each of you like to say to them?
I want to say that I wish she would come forward and tell the truth. Amiah needs to be buried properly. Amiah needs to have a voice, and I feel like that Amiah never had a chance at life, and I just think people need to be honest at this point. Just clear your conscience. And it's not okay to go around harming innocent babies, and you get to live your life like nothing happened. Go ahead, Holly.
I wish they would come forward. You know, an innocent life is gone. And somebody can give this baby justice. But nobody wants to step up and say anything. She was innocent.
And even if people are convicted, I pray to God that the truth eventually comes out and we do find out where Amiah is and somebody is honest about what happened to her, because getting justice, I feel like that is some type of closure. But to have complete closure, I feel like we need to know where she's at and we need to know what happened to her. And that's how I feel like I'm going to get some closure, because we breathed this, ate it, and slept it. We need closure. Amiah needs closure more importantly than anyone.
And we won't stop. We won't stop.
I've said it 100 times. I will not sit down and shut up until something happens. I will not sit down and be quiet. I don't care what it takes. And I've even said, we've protested a lot, and that's to get our voices heard, to get Amiah's case heard, and to let people out here not forget about her. And she was somebody important. And I've even stated on a news conference that Ryan Mears was on, you either move forward in filing some type of charges in the guilty parties, or we're going to protest in front of your house next. And I'm going to bring everybody with me. I wasn't joking. I meant what I said.
She definitely needs justice, that's for sure. And we won't stop. That is definitely the big thing with us. We're not going to stop. We don't care if we have people jumping down our throats because of what we're doing. We're still not going to stop. We're going to keep going.
And you would think that they would want to come clean with what they have, information-wise, just to clear the air so that they could have some sort of peace. They can't possibly have any peace in their life with this over their head.
I will say that thank you, Incog, and thank you, Amy. We appreciate that. Thank you so much. My thing is with Amber, her life has always been chaotic, and it still is. I won't get into all of that, but Amber's life is not peaceful like some people may think, and she did get her oldest son taken away in the beginning of Amiah's case, because she had an open DCS case in the beginning, CPS, whatever you want to call it, whichever one, and they were investigating her for her living conditions. She had a lot of calls prior to Amiah missing, and before she actually met up with DCS, because she was running away from them, Amiah went missing. And so Amiah didn't get a chance. I feel DCS failed her just the same.
Yeah, definitely.
And she got pregnant a month after Amiah went missing with Josiah. He just turned 2 in January. He actually got taken away when he was 2 months old. Amber got to take him home. She failed. She got him taken away. And then he went with little Logan, where he was, with Amber's aunt and uncle. So they had the boys. And then she had a 4th child. And I think she's about to turn a year old really soon. But Amber never shows pictures and stuff of her. I won't get into why, but she, like, I don't understand. She got her kids back December 22nd of 2021. And I mean, a whole nation was just really pissed off. I'll put it that way.
Yeah, that blows my mind of how DCS could allow that. But
Yeah.
of the court system, I guess, just in general, it's unbelievable.
Our court system here sucks. And I will tell you another thing. It wouldn't shock me if anything bad happened to her other children. I'll just leave that at that. And DCS doesn't give two shits about these kids out here. They don't. And I'm being dead serious and honest about it.
Oh, I believe it happens all the time.
Well, and with these children, the ones I'm speaking of, the 3 that are living, DCS is still failing them. DCS is still failing these kids. And it's pissing me off. It's pissing a lot of people off. Amber should have never have gotten these kids back. And DCS just flat out does not care. We even protested them. Stood outside the county building, city county building, and protested them. And I wrote a whole petition, made a whole petition up. It's one of the ones that's in the comments here. And literally tried to make to please let the judge see this girl is not fit to raise children. I mean, what does it take for one of your other kids to come up missing too, or all of your kids to come up dead? I mean, what does it take? Because I feel DCS should be held accountable. I really do. Yeah. And I know there's certain guidelines that DCS has to go by, but do your job.
Mm-hmm.
Your job is to protect these kids, and they're failing these kids. Amber sucks. She was never cut out to be a mom. Never. And her actions say it all. So.
So many words, but I have to retract some.
Yeah, I know.
Say what I want to say.
So I have their Facebook group also linked in the description box. If you guys want to go follow it, you can see all the walks. CC goes live a lot, tries to answer questions, keep everybody updated. So you can follow there. And Holly has been doing TikTok. If she wants to say where you can find her on TikTok.
Midnight Raven.
And spread her videos so they get to the people that know the answers to this case. Is there anything else you guys want to say?
Yeah, I also want to say that Amber Lumpkin runs the Justice for Amiah page. She's been doing a lot of videos and stuff as well. She's been tagging the prosecutor and all of this stuff, trying to send a message to him as well. We're not going away. You need to do something.
And Mel, can you get the link to that channel and link it?
Do what? I'm sorry.
Holly.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Oh, I was just saying, you know, Amber Lumpkin and myself, I've even duetted some of her videos as well. And, you know, it's really nice to be able to have, you know, other people that's working together for the same thing instead of arguing about things, you know. I'm really enjoying that, and I like that. I don't like negativity, and I will stay away from it. So I'm just going to keep on doing what I'm doing, and I am so happy that Amber is on there, being able to do the same thing with me. Amber
Mhm.
Lumpkin, that is.
Yeah. Um, and as far as what Holly said, the negativity, yeah, it gets really old, and it does. Like, we're trying to work together, some of us as a team, me and Holly, Lindsay, and Sierra when she's able to come. Amber Lumpkin, like, she's from Indianapolis, but she lives in Michigan now. They had to move because of her husband's job, but she does what she can from afar. And then
Right.
when we put events together and stuff, we get locals to come and join us and then whatnot. And I go live for my Amiah group. So the people that can't be here, they can join in. But it's nice, so nice and refreshing to have positive people because I have a lot of haters. You guys know how that is. I mean, you do podcasts and stuff. You guys get hate mail as well.
Yeah,
And
just a little.
yeah, I just want to tell those people to fuck off. So I'm just gonna say it. I'm just gonna say it. Y'all know how I am. I frequent the F bomb and I just don't care. But that's what we need. We need people working together instead of people working against us. And even if you're working against us, it's not going to stop us from doing anything. So I don't know what the point of all that bullshit is. Because for number one, we're not Amber supporters. We'll never be Amber supporters. I don't allow any Amber supporters in my group or Robbie. And if you really care about Amiah, you want justice.
That's right.
And that's what we're all here for. And there's a few of my haters that say I'm lying about everything. I'm sorry, all the people that's been working by my side know I'm telling the truth. There's nothing I have to lie about. What's that going to gain me?
That's right. Nothing the CC has said is a lie. It's all
No.
truth.
And if there's stuff I can't say publicly, I just won't say it because I'm not trying to taint her case or mess it up or make up rumors. If it's something that's a rumor, I'm going to tell you, well, yeah, I've heard this, but I don't know if it's true.
Right.
So we want to work together and we want to stay strong for Amiah. We want to be her voices. And that's what it's all about. Like, this baby needs some justice. She doesn't need all the bickering and the arguing, the fighting.
That's right.
And the negativity.
Exactly. You
What
sat there
can-
and you sat there, Cece, and you said that she needs peace. Well, we need the peace too.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're not going to have peace until we're done fighting for Amiah. And it's hard already. So
Yeah,
go
it
ahead.
gets mentally and physically draining. I'm telling you. I mean, Incog, Chaotic Beauty, you guys know, and any of you other podcasters out here that have been so tied into a case, you know what it's about. You know how it goes.
Oh yeah.
And
Yeah.
I don't.
I was just saying, I mean, you can't give up. You can't give up. You got to
No.
keep going because you don't have any peace.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, you live your life, but there's still Amiah. You won't have the peace until there's justice.
No.
And it's hard.
And I don't personally follow other cases. I mean, I might hear something here and there about them, but I'm diehard about this. I mean, this is my main thing right here. And it's become very personal to me, and I am local. So I don't get into a lot of other cases like I do this one, and I probably never will again after this is all said and done.
Yeah, I can understand.
I mean, not only that, it's just I try to get interested in following another case. I can't do it. Casey Anthony, I followed that from beginning to the end, like, because that happened years ago.
Yeah.
But I've even told Amber when we were hanging out that, and Amber may not have known who Casey Anthony was, which that could be a good possibility. She would have been a child when all of this happened, but I told her straight up, I looked her right in the face when we were driving down the street. And I said, you know what? I said, Amiah's case reminds me a lot of Caylee Anthony's case, Casey Anthony. And she goes, who's that? And I told her about it. I said, yeah, that mom waited 31 whole fucking days to report her daughter missing. And she's like, just looking at me, like, oh shit. And so many similarities, so many. And I was saying,
Casey walked free.
yeah, and I was saying, because I watched Marsha Clark the other night, it was a lot of new updates with stuff that could have been presented in court for Caylee Anthony, but they didn't have all this information back then. And the defense team, like, they really effed that case up.
Oh yeah.
And they let a killer walk free.
Yep.
Because it was proven George Anthony had nothing to do with what happened to Caylee. And there was evidence pointing, I mean, they found where there was a search done on that home computer when Casey was the only one at home when this happened. And this recently came to light. She researched foolproof suffocation. And I don't know, just so many similarities here and there about the case. It's just sickening.
How can the community help you guys spread the word and fight for Amiah at this point?
I think that one of the things is, if anybody would like to, if they have TikToks, do videos about Amiah, share them. Let's blow it up on TikTok, because that's what we're trying to do. We want everybody to know about her.
And anybody that's local, I know there's tons of locals here that know about Amiah and maybe have even been in the groups. Come join us at events.
Oh yeah.
Come join us. Like, we'd love to have all the people we can get. Do some flyers, hang some flyers. Just talk about her,
Yeah.
Pray about her.
Let people know who she is.
And that's my thing. We have a lot of locals here that don't get involved, but they want justice, and it just irritates me to no end. Because there's a lot of people that could come out here and join us. Like, we've asked millions of times, come help us search. I understand if somebody's not physically able to, but I mean, there's a lot of people that use excuses to not come out here and do anything, but, oh, we want justice, or they condemn us for the way or what we're doing or what we're saying, or when they have no room.
Right, and we're not doing that right. If that's an issue, come help us.
Yeah, and then somebody's saying Casey Anthony was partying her ass off. Sounds like Amber.
Yes, it does.
What is the next event you guys are planning on doing?
Amiah's birthday.
Yep. We have decided, if weather's permitting, that we are going to do her birthday celebration. It will be her number 4. Would have been. We're looking, I think, at March 23rd. Isn't that what we said, Holly?
No, you didn't say March.
Or shit, March. I'm talking about something else we were talking about earlier. July 23rd. I apologize. Oh, Lord have mercy. Because Amiah's birthday is July the 14th of 2018. That was her birthday. So we're planning on doing something special for her birthday on the 23rd, I do believe, which is a Saturday. And I'm giving plenty of advance notice so a lot of people can come.
Is there anything that people can do to help with that? Or do you prefer them to just message you privately?
If people would, I've asked, and we don't normally ask for any donations or anything like that. I mean, if people want to donate, that's great. That helps us because the money comes out of our pockets. And we want to reserve this year a shelter house. It's $75. It's right across the street from Holly's house in Bel Air Park, which is where we normally host her birthday events.
Yeah, we want to try and get that because there's a playground right there in case if anybody brings their kids, and
Hmm.
there's also a splash pad right there too. So, we want the kids to be able to have fun too that day.
Yeah, and we would just love for people to attend. We're gonna do some food. If people want to bring food, that would be great. But if you say you're gonna bring something, we actually need you to show up because then we're gonna be short on not having any food. You know what I mean? So
And I know
we
every
usually
year you, oh, go ahead.
no, go ahead.
I know every year you guys try and pick a different theme for her birthdays. Have you picked this year's theme?
We have picked stars. We don't know what we're gonna put with it yet. That was Chandelot's idea, and I thought it was cute. Holly liked it, so
Yeah, we're just
You
trying to
guys,
think of something else we can add, with stars.
right? You guys usually
something
do
that
a balloon release too, correct?
yes,
So if anyone goes, try and bring a balloon.
yeah, or some balloons. I normally try to get um
Biodegradable.
a biodegradable that way, because of the debris left behind from it, then an animal doesn't get choked on it or whatever. And I like to also send off lanterns. I was a dummy. Um, the lanterns I ordered last year off of Amazon, I thought they were flammable and went up in the air. Well, Ashley pointed out to me, Cece, these are not, they don't go up in the air. And I'm like, oh, geez. So we like to do that as well.
Yeah. We did
Where
a
is,
couple lanterns that evening though.
yeah, and yeah, yeah, that was funny. Everybody's laughing at us. We were laughing at ourselves. Where is this again? It is, I'm not sure what the address is. It's called Bel Air Park,
Yeah.
and it's on the west side of Indy.
Southwest side, yeah.
Southwest side, yeah.
You were getting ready to say something, Incog.
No, I
Oh.
don't think so.
I thought I heard you, and then okay, maybe not. I was over here choking on tea, so
Oh, are you okay?
Hey, where's
Yeah.
my tea?
Tell Mr. Chaotic.
I
Failing.
was gonna say something, but I didn't.
Time to deliver.
We want to meet Mr. Chaotic. Yeah.
He was in the chat, but I think he left.
Oh, he was in here?
Yeah, towards the beginning. Unless we have a
Oh.
fake Mr. Chaotic. We never know these days.
Is that what he's going by?
No, he actually had his real name in here, so. But I did tag him
Oh.
at some point and called him Mr. Chaotic, so. Yeah, so everybody go sign the petitions, follow the groups. I did link Amber's in the chat. After the stream and everything, I'll add it in the description box as well.
Okay.
I'll also try and link Holly's TikTok to make it a little easier for you all to find. Everybody, I'm sure, knows who Incog is, but if you're not subscribed, go subscribe. I guess I will let you ladies go unless there's anything else. I'm gonna play the Amiah video one last time on the way out, and then I will post it in a separate video so you guys can share it.
I want to say one more thing really quick. I did thank everybody for coming to the event. So I want to say that again. Thank you for who showed up, and thank you for supporting us in what we do, and thank you for supporting Amiah, and we hope to see you guys at our next event.
Yes.
Thank you, guys. Thanks
Thank
for having
you.
me.
Yes.
Thank you, Cece. Thank you, Holly. Thank you, Incog.
Thanks for asking me.
Anytime.
Absolutely.
Yes.
All right, well, everybody have a good night. And if you have a tip by chance, make sure you call 317-262-TIPS and report it. You can do it anonymously, so you don't have to be involved per se. But I hope everybody has a good night.
You too. Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Good night.